Hey, what's up? My name is PJ, and in this video we are doing the results of Raw Edit Challenge number 9. Hope you enjoy. What's up, friends? How's your October going so far? You already know who it is, your favourite lanky Australian boy, Peach here. We are finally getting to the results of Raw Edit Challenge number 9. I'm going to try and keep it as snappy as possible because these can easily go for way too long. But if you have any suggestions for what you would like the next challenge to be, I'll probably record that over the weekend. Please leave it down in the comments below. Anyway, let's get started. This is the photo that we had to begin with. It's a band called Snark. There's a video of this shoot. It's the previous one that I uploaded, so feel free to go and watch that. I'll leave a little link at the end of this video. But here we go. Here's the photo. This is where we started. Let's get stuck right into it. I'm sorry in advance if I butcher your names or where you're from, or if I stuff that up. I'm trying my absolute best. First one is Aaron Michaud from Ontario, Canada. Aaron, let's have a look at what Aaron's done. This is actually pretty cool. This is like a film simulation type of black and white edit. I really like how high the whites are. Sometimes when you do the washed out crunched black thing, the whites are just kind of lost in the mix and the focus is too much on the fade and not enough on the actual tones of the image. But I like it that you've got the deep fade and the crunch blacks, but the whites are so bright. I think that really makes it work, and it works with this photo. And if you had seen the references that the band had given me before this shoot, you would know that this one knocked what the client wanted absolutely out of the park. So great job, Aaron. I really like it. We have another Canadian, Alex Tessier from Montreal. Alex, first of all, I like the colors and the tones. It's nice and warm. It's very much in my style. And you've gone pretty hard on the contrast. This is like one of those single image HDR style photos. The sort of thing that 5 or 6 years ago was really, really big, especially in music photography. It's pretty good. It's lost a little bit of detail. I'm pretty sure that's just the export because it looks like it would otherwise be a very detailed edit. So I'm not sure what export settings you used, but yeah, like I said, the colors are really good, tones are really good, very punchy, I'm pretty sure it would be very sharp if it was exported differently, and that would improve the overall perception of the image. But overall, I can see exactly where it was going and I really like it. It's different to everyone else's submissions. You've also done a square crop or an almost square crop by the look of it. So great job, man. Thank you for this submission. Next one is Karl Marx from the Philippines. Karl Marx Visuals. This is kind of the opposite to the last one. It's a little bit, you've taken out some of the contrast, Karl. It's a very blue edit. Definitely in that sort of orange and teal style that a lot of us like to use these days. But yeah, a little bit less contrast. There might be a little bit of grain added. Still nice and sharp. Yeah, that's a pretty solid edit, man. Thank you. You've made it a little bit darker than what it was, but you might, if you've watched my last video, you might have heard me mention that dark but natural light was kind of the vibe that the band wanted to go for. The references that I mentioned before, there was a lot of like Green Day and I can't even remember the other bands, but there were lots of natural light pictures with a dark sort of vibe to them. So really good job. Daniel Marinakis from Melbourne. Mara, you have actually done something really interesting here. And this looks so much like a film photo from the 90s. You have you've changed the entire composition of the image. Now, because it's such a tight crop, you've lost a little bit of detail, but it really works with the photo because, like I said, it looks like something from the 90s taken on a film camera, and you've made something that I would have never ever seen in this photo. So basically, this is how the guys were spaced in the previous picture, and Daniel has yeah, he's taken Pat here and cut him out and cropped him in, or maybe he's moved the other guys, because I can see there's a bit of a line here. But that's actually a really good job. If I hadn't just noticed that, I would have thought that you had done an excellent job there, Mara. And you have done an excellent job. It's just not a fully clean cutout. But regardless, that's really, really cool and something that I would have never, ever thought. So I'll totally give you props for that. That left side there, his left, my right, is honestly the only thing that I can see out of place from this photo. So overall, that's a fantastic job, Mara. Next one is Justin Thomas from Memphis, Tennessee. This is kind of a hybrid of a couple of the other different sort of styles. It's still very much hay fever season. We're in the depths of spring. So you've got very, very detailed, but you've also got this sort of like washed out gradient film stock kind of effect. It's kind of like when Instagram first came out. It's kind of like that's what this effect reminds me of, some of those early Instagram filters, but done in a much more classy and pleasing way. Really nice skin tones, not blown out too much, lots of detail. I can't zoom in, but it looks like there might be a little bit of grain. If not, might just be some sharpening. But yeah, I really like that, Justin. Thank you so much for the submission. Next one is Milos Ivanovski from Serbia. Milos, thank you for the submission, my man. Nice and warm. You have exaggerated this little gradient from the side here, the sunlight poking in and reflecting off the back. That's exactly what I did in my edit. I'll show you mine at the end. But very, very cool. You've definitely gone for that orange and teal style look. I can tell by the skin tones, and you've got some maybe cool tones in the shadows. You might have done a little split tone as well. I'm not too sure, but very sharp, very realistic without overdoing it. I would probably have added a little bit of grain if it was me, just to keep it more consistent, because there are some just little highlights and stuff on the faces that would just be smoothed out really nicely with some grain, I feel. But that's not my decision, that's yours, and I really like the edit. Thank you so much, Milos. Next one is Nathan Barik. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Nathan, from the Central Coast, New South Wales. So he's gone for a little bit of a desaturated look. I think he's changed the crop as well to like something a little more cinematic. I'm not sure if it's intended that way, but it looks like, I can't remember what it is. Is it 16:9 or something? It's that sort of like wide angle aspect ratio. Pretty good job. There's a little bit of pink in the skin tones, which sometimes can look funny around the eyes, but I can see where you're going with this. Desaturated, a little bit grungy. My personal preference would have been a little more contrast, but like I said before, it's not my creative decision, it's yours, and I can see where it was going, and it looks very 90s, like I mentioned about a couple of the other ones. So thank you for the submission, my friend. I really like it. Now we've got Steven Anderson from San Marcos, Texas. We've also got, I forgot what the other one did it, but it was a almost square crop. This one's a little more rectangular. It might be like a 2x3 type of deal. I think you've really nailed your tones, really nice and sharp. Skin tones look very natural and flattering. Yeah, it's again that orange and teal type of thing, but a little desaturated, but not too much desaturated. So I really like that balance. And yeah, nice and sharp. Crop works pretty well. There's not too much wasted space around the outside, but there's also still enough room to chuck a band logo or something up the top here. So thank you for the submission, Stephen. I really like your edit. Tiago Moraes Moura. I'm sorry again, Tiago, if I'm getting your name wrong. Tiago's from São Paulo, Brazil. And this is very, very different to the other ones. It's that gritty, grungy feel. It's a lot darker and a lot more blue. You've taken most of the warmth out of the image. Yeah, pretty good. Nice and sharp. The only thing I'll say is, like I said about the pink tones in someone else's photo, sometimes it gets a bit dirty under the eyes. Sometimes the eyes tend to look like they've got bags underneath them, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you'll find that if you deliver this to a client, that'll be the first thing that they point out. Otherwise, very good. Another thing that I'll say is with this dark edit, it makes the guy's arms look hairy or their hands look dirty. But I'm not sure if you could really avoid that and still do this style. Maybe you could do some photoshopping, but it's probably not worth the effort. But regardless, I can see where you're going, and I like that you took a different path than everyone else did, and I like that you are doing your own thing. So thank you so much, Tiago. It's a really good addition to the lineup here, and something very different to everyone else. Thanks, man. Next one is Victor from Moscow in Russia. This is a little more traditional. It's closer to what the eye would see. The green tones are still intact. There's maybe a little bit of desaturation in the skin, but it's still what I would call very natural. Nice and sharp, again with the square crop. And yeah, the only thing I would say is I might have straightened up the lines a little bit, because it might not be perfect with the 42mm is not too bad. I was going to say with the perspective, it might have distorted the lines a little bit, but they just look a little bit crooked to me. Maybe it's just this throwing it off, but it looks a little bit crooked. I might have straightened it a tiny bit, and the only reason I'm noticing that is because it's square and because there's less room for the lines to move across the image. But really good job. Like I said, much more of a natural traditional edit, and the advantage of this sort of style is it doesn't age as much. Sometimes when you go with like the trendy style or whatever the look of the day or the week or month is, it dates really easily. So like in a couple of months we'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's that thing that we were all doing. But I think this is a little more traditional is the only word that I can use to describe it. Thank you for the effort, Victor. This is Bianca Oliveira from Salvador, Brazil. Shout out to Bianca for sending me 3 different emails, because and I've done the exact same thing before. You are really happy with it, you send it through, and then you come back with fresh eyes and you look and it's not exactly what you think. So I'm pretty sure this is the last one you sent, Bianca. I'm sorry if it's not. There were a lot of emails, and I got not just yours, there were a lot of emails in general, and I might have got confused, but I'm pretty sure this is the final edit. This is a lot brighter and warmer and happier than the feel of some of the other ones. Skin tones are pretty much all there. You've done a good job with that, because I know there are a few hot spots, particularly on Pat's face on the side there. So you've lifted them up, but you haven't lost any, which is definitely a positive. Like I said, nice and bright. It's as contrasty as it needs to be, but it's not too contrasty, and lots of warmth in the image as well, which I really like too. Thank you for the effort, Bianca. The last one is from Tala. I hope I'm saying that right. Tala Imam from Scotland, and another black and white. I really like it. It's a very clean black and white, actually. There's not too much grain. Like I said about Aaron's one, you've lifted the whites, particularly the skin tones, to a point where they're not lost in the faded black and white look. And you've also gone for a bit of a wider crop. You've taken out some of the space from the top of the image, I believe. But yeah, pretty good. Crunched the blacks, saved the whites, and overall very, very clean and effective edit. So thank you so much for the submission, Tyler. Cool. The last one is, I'll just go over mine really quickly, and it's probably exactly what you have come to expect if you've been watching my videos. I am steering a little bit away from this style now. I'm trying to develop some different kind of color combinations, but this is a photo that I edited 3 or 4 months ago. So this is very much in the orange and teal look. Like I kind of said earlier, I added some grain just to kind of smooth out the skin tones, just because there were some hot spots and there was some contrast there that's not necessarily flattering to the faces, but I tried to keep it warm, and I emphasized this warm glow coming in from the left here. Another thing I like to do is also change the green tone slightly, because I find that the natural green color of that sort of grass is just not very interesting in photos. But yeah, added some grain, and there we have it. That's my edit. I tried to include a list of new names today. I tried to get some variety, but I also tried to give a chance to a lot of other people who've not been featured on the Raw Edit Challenge before. Much love to my OGs. Like, thank you so much to all my regulars who are always the first to submit and always do a great job. But I just wanted to maybe get a few more people involved that haven't been involved so far. So yeah, okay, I'm sorry about that. My camera cut out towards the end of the video there, but let me just do a quick sign off. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you learned something, give me a big fat thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and please leave suggestions or submissions down below in the comments. Also join the Legends Club on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/BigPantsLegends, and I will see you in the next video.